Hello and welcome back for another edition of Fisher Football Focus. I'm your host, James Bailey. It was Senior Day and Family Weekend all wrapped into one at Groundy Stadium this past Saturday. The Fisher seniors were honored before the game and were looking to end their Fisher home careers on a high note. Standing in their way was a tough Cortland team, sporting a 5-2 record and looking to win to keep pace with Alfred and Brockport at the top of the Empire 8 standings. Playing for nothing but pride, the Cardinals were ready to throw all they had at the Red Dragons.
First drive for Fisher, Jonathan Letta, who didn't start Saturday, comes in for a 4th and 1, but he didn't stop at a first down. He runs in for 6 to give Fisher an early lead. After stalling out in their first few drives, Cortland's explosive offense picked up in the second quarter. Stephen Ferrara and Nick Anderson to tie things up at 7 apiece. On the ensuing kickoff, Cortland kicks it deep. It's fielded here by freshman Cam Cleveland. Cleveland bursts upfield, finds a hole, makes a move, and fumbles the ball. Cortland would recover it, and that would set up this. Ferrara making Fisher pay. He throws a beautiful pass here to Alex Wasserman in the back of the end zone to give Cortland a 14-7 lead. Fisher got bit by another special teams miscue late in the half. Devin Ziegowitz gets his field goal blocked here to turn the ball back over to Cortland again. And once again, Ferrara would pounce. Here we go, takes the snap here and he lobs it up to Anderson, who makes a brilliant diving catch down to the 1. Johnny Aikens scored 2 plays later to give the Dragons a 21-7 halftime edge. In the third quarter, the Fisher offense would wake up. Joshua Michaels hooks up with Dylan Harrington, who makes a move and takes off. Nobody would catch him 67 yards to the house to bring Fisher back within a score. James Chambers tied things up on the next Fisher possession with a 5-yard touchdown run. Then, the senior running back would really take over. Michaels rolls to his right and throws the ball back to a wide-open Chambers, who walks into the end zone untouched to give Fisher a 28-21 lead. Late in the fourth, with Fisher trying to run the clock, Chambers, he put it away. Look at that speed. 80 yards all the way to the end zone. The Cardinals would go on to win 35-28. Chambers finished with 290 total yards from scrimmage in his final home game. A pair of sophomores cashed in on Senior Day as well, with Michaels and Harrington putting up impressive stat lines of their own. The football win was the second part of a Senior Day triple header, with the Fisher field hockey team and men's soccer teams also putting up Senior Day victories.
After this break, I'll be sitting down with senior captain Kyrie Demos, so stay here. Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, joined now by senior offensive lineman and captain Kyrie Demos again. Happy to have you back on the show, Kyrie.
Thanks for having me again.
So this past Saturday, it kind of finally felt like old school Fisher football. You know, kind of what gotten accustomed to seeing. Probably what you've been accustomed to feeling over the past several years. Where guys got down a little bit, but made those halftime adjustments. Really came out on a tear offensively in that third quarter. Took the lead and just never really looked back. So is that kind of what it felt like? Kind of felt like you went back in time a little bit to the past couple of years?
Yeah, for sure. It was nice, especially being the last time playing at Groundy. I've had a lot of great moments at Groundy and just have enjoyed a lot of success here playing at Fisher. So being able to get back on track, with a big win like that, especially against a very good team in Cortland. Cortland's one of the best teams in the conference and, had been beating a lot of teams in our conference pretty handily. So it was a great way to end it at Groundy.
Yeah, and definitely, and huge offensive day for you guys. Obviously, close to 600 yards total offense, but especially a big game for your longtime friend James Chambers. We've talked a lot about your friendship. You guys went to the same school and everything, came here together, and he put up 290 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns, which are both career highs for him. Mm-hmm. So obviously as a lineman, you don't put up the individual stats, but obviously. The way your O-line play contributed a lot to that performance. So it feels really fulfilling to be able to go out and not just get the big win, but also put up big numbers and kind of impose your will on that senior day.
Oh, absolutely. As an offensive line, our stats are what our offensive stats are. That's really all it comes down to. And we were able to pound the rock all day on them, and we passed the ball pretty well too. But it's just demoralizing for a defense. For us to just line up every single play, get 5, 6, 7 yards a carry, and it really showed. James had a big game throughout, and I mean, obviously what he does as a player is a big factor in that, but our offensive line, we really put it together, which is what we had been looking to do throughout the season.
Right, and not only your last game, but it was also Coach Gary Mervis' last home game here as well. He's obviously the longest tenured coach on the staff, so it was also great to be able to go out there and win one last one out there for Coach Mervis.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Merv's my guy. He's been one of the closest, one of the coaches that I've been closest with since I transferred here. I love him to death. He runs the FCA program, so I'm involved in that, and with Camp Good Days and everything like that. All he does for this program and for this community, it's really, truly special, and he's a special person. So just being able to give him that one last memory on top of us as seniors going out, getting that last W at Growney, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, and you've had the privilege of not only obviously working with Coach Mervis, but just even looking at all the coaches you have to work with individually. With obviously Coach Vosberg been here for a long time, Coach Rob Kramer, your offensive coordinator, a long time coach, and also even your old line coach, Coach Chetty, been here just as long as Coach Vosberg. So what's been your experience here with this Fisher coaching staff, and how have they helped grow you as you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I came in. As a young 18-year-old kid, just trying to play football, just, trying to take the talents that I had and, apply them to the field in some way or some form or fashion. And, they've helped develop me. I've been fortunate to have been an all-conference player every season I've been here. Hopefully this season again as well. And, just being able to help me learn, what type of work I need to put in every single day just to be a successful football player, film study, in the weight room, on the practice field, and how that all translates to game day. So I really do appreciate all that the coaching staff has done for me, and I wouldn't be the player that I am today if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a little bit. You are a captain this year, so you're able to kind of be a leader on this team. How fulfilling has it been to, with such a young team, kind of be a leader to help kind of build this program moving forward?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I really looked forward to this season because of that. I had always been on teams where, over the last 3 years, where I was a voice that guys could look to, and a person that guys could trust and look to as a leader. I like to lead by example, things like that. But at the same time, we've had a lot of veteran-heavy groups. So I just knew this year that it was going to take a little bit of time. We got a lot of inexperienced guys and a lot of guys playing their first year at the varsity level or starting on the varsity level. And I took it as a challenge, and I took it head on, just because I know that not everybody can do that and not everybody wants to do that. But I want to be able to help this team transition into a new regime and what looks ahead for the future. We got a lot of good young guys, really great freshman class that came in this year. So I really just hope that yeah, we've had a tough season so far, but we've picked up 2 wins, and if we win out, we can finish with a winning record in the conference. So I just want to be able to show the young guys that at the end of the day, that you just got to be a professional about things and just got to continue to work no matter what the circumstances are.
What's been your most fulfilling Fisher football memory in the 4 years that you've had here, now that it's almost to the end of the line?
Wow. Oh, man. From as far as a personal or as far as like a team?
Just whatever you're going to remember best about being a member of this program for 4 years.
I would just say, I don't know. I guess I would just say just being a part of this culture. Won a lot of games here, obviously, won a ton of games, and I've been able to. I've been thankful enough to. I'm thankful for the amount of success that I've had personally, on top of our team success. But I just can always remember going out on game day and seeing how the fans get into it, and just talking to people around campus and. People just in the Rochester community saying, hey, how's Fisher doing? Like, hey, good game the other day and things like that. And, it really is a family here, and just, being a part of this culture. Like back in high school, my senior year, we had a really good season, and that was the first time we had had that much success in over a decade. But here, winning is expected, and to be able to be a part of some successful teams like I was, you know, it really just, it makes you, it takes you back a bit, you know, and makes you think that, you know, just appreciate how fortunate you really are to be in a place like this and to play with such great people.
So obviously, you're graduating here at the end of this semester. So what's up next for you after Fisher?
Hopefully something in the media and communication field, doing sports journalism. I like to write more so than do stuff in front of the camera or behind the camera and things like that. So I would love to work with like with a team, being like a beat reporter for a newspaper. But at the same time too, you know, just being able to do this stuff here with CTV. I would love to just get involved in some form or fashion. You know how this field is. Oh, yeah. You know, the more skills you have, the more marketable you are, and the more you can, the more options you have. So, you know, I just want to be able to show what I've learned and, you know, get things going. I'm kind of getting anxious. I'm like, it's bittersweet. Obviously, college ending and, you know, the fun times of being in college and things like that. But I think I'm ready to get going with the next portion of my life. So.
Well, I feel like I got a couple more months in you, but I feel that coming too. So you kind of alluded to a little bit, kind of work in this field. Do you see yourself staying around the sport of football as you move forward? Oh,
absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing, you know. For me, I know physically at some point football's gonna have to come to an end. My body's telling me, hey man, you've had 4 surgeries. You probably should sit down at some point. But at the same time, you know, I'm not in the position where I'm not gonna be able to enjoy the game like how I do now as a player, because I know I'll be working in this field for an X amount of years, and you know, hopefully that means I can, you know, potentially work with an NFL team or in the NFL or, you know, ESPN, something somewhere down the line. So, you know, some guys really don't have that opportunity, but I'm just fortunate to be able to know that once I'm done playing, I'll still be around the game.
All right, and great. And so you're not completely done yet. You've got Morrisville up next week. Obviously, you guys put up a lot of points against them last year. They allowed a lot of points. So you're looking forward for another chance to go out there and put a lot of numbers on the board? Yeah,
for sure. You know, offensively, you know, our game plan is just going to be, again, run the ball, pound the rock, and, you know, just get things going for James. And just to protect JD, keep him clean back there. And, you know, the big thing for us is right now at this point, you know, James is pretty close to getting over 1,000 yards. So, you know, we're trying to make sure he gets there. And, you know, because as an offensive line, obviously, you know, we don't have statistics that you can measure, but we take a lot of pride in what our guys behind us can do, you know. So if we can get James over 1,000 yards and help him, you know, to getting a first-team all-conference selection, that reflects on us well. So that's really all the focus is at this point.
All right, well, congratulations on all the success you've had here at Fisher, and good luck the rest of the season and beyond, Kyrie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so up next, Captain David Carroll will come on to reflect on his senior day experience, so keep with us.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills, the smarts. Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, joined now by Senior Captain David Carroll yet again. Happy to be back on the show again, Dave.
Yeah, always glad to be here.
All right, so before we talk a little bit bigger picture, break it down to Saturday, senior day. You know, we'll bring it back even early in the game where Corton's offense kind of exploded in the second quarter. They scored 21 points behind Stephen Ferrara, and their offense was really kind of clicking, and you know, it kind of felt like it was, you know, the game could go either way right there. You know, with the way the season was going, you know, going into the halftime down 2 scores, you know, wasn't looking fantastic for you guys, but it came out in the second half and really just kind of imposed your will on them. So what were the adjustments made in the second half, and what was kind of the difference?
Well, in all reality, we didn't have to make too many adjustments because it wasn't anything that was really wrong with our game plan throughout that first half. I mean, in the first quarter, we played really good defense. We got them off the field on a couple 3-and-outs. In the second quarter, we just got beat over the top a couple of times. Ferrari threw a couple great balls. He's a heck of a quarterback. There's no doubt about that. So just adjusting on some of the mental issues that we had throughout that half. We had a fumble, which put us in a bad spot on special teams. Offense at one point couldn't get into the end zone. Cortland's defense had a great stance, and it was because of a missed block on third down. So there was a lot going on in that second quarter where it was a lot of more mental mistakes than actual game plan, the plays drawn up, or defense that we were actually in. We just had to execute a little bit better to what we'd been given.
Yeah, and I talked to Kyrie. It kind of felt more like old school Fisher football, what we've gotten used to over the first kind of 3 years. Is that kind of what you felt like too? Is that you finally everything's kind of clicking for the first time all year, that you guys were able to kind of build up a kind of couple score lead and hold on to it?
Yeah, I mean, in that second half, that was probably the best football we've played all year. We came out and absolutely rolled them in the second half, not only on defense, but all three phases of the games. Our special teams was great. We had a lot of big plays. I know Ryan McQuillan had a tackle on like a huge punt and just kept him inside the 20. Then at the end of the game, Burton had a kick that put him inside the 12, so they didn't have even an opportunity to go down and score. So it wasn't even just defense, offense. All three aspects of the game, everybody was out there playing their best, and we were just clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, and obviously that was just your last game at Ground. You think that was kind of a fitting ending to your Fisher football career, at least here at Fisher, at least here at home?
Yeah, I mean, just getting the win, absolutely, that was what we were going for. Last time I ever get to play on the field, last time all the seniors ever get to play on that field. So just getting a big win there to kind of leave it on the right note, and then also show the younger guys to always keep fighting no matter what the circumstances are and keep pressing. That was huge for us seniors to kind of leave the right legacy for the young guys.
Yeah, and so you suited up for a whole bunch of games here at Fisher over your 4 years. Obviously, as your career here is winding down, what would you say your career highlight has been? As a team, individually, what are you gonna remember best?
Probably the first one that jumped into my mind was the Courage Bowl my sophomore year against Brockport. Obviously, it was the second annual Courage Bowl against them. I believe the 11th. When we went into double overtime, Alexander Mortallero had a huge pick that sealed us the game. Well, kept it going into overtime, excuse me, and then a missed field goal actually sealed us the game by Brockport. But man, what a game that was. Individually, nothing really sticks out to me. I mean, I love to think a lot more about the team. That some games, like the Utica game, will always be in my mind. That was one of the craziest games of football that I've ever participated in. But probably those two really jump out at me.
You had 20 tackles that game too. That's pretty
Yeah.
over the ball in that one. You've been a 2-year captain here at Fisher, and you came in as a captain at the same time as your current defensive coordinator Chris Keys came in, kind of to implement his defensive vision. So how have you been able to kind of grow as a leader on this team with your coach kind of also kind of growing into his defensive coordinator role here?
Yeah, Coach Keys gets better and better every game. I mean, he knows the game of football, especially the defensive side of football, better than anybody I've ever met in my entire life. You can go up and ask him any question about almost any defense in the world, and he's going to be able to come back at you with an answer and then go on for a 20-minute rant about how that defense works, what doesn't work about it. He is just an incredibly smart guy. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to play underneath him in this defense. It's been a lot of fun. Me and him have grown closer and closer over the past couple of years. Me being hopefully what I'd consider a central part of his defense, and he's helped me out. He's helped me grow as a person, and I'd hope that I've been able to help him kind of leave his mark on this defense as he continues to push forward in his career as well.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned the captain role, so you've been able to be a leader on this team for the past couple of years. What's been the most fulfilling part of kind of being that role on this team?
Well, it's just seeing guys be amped up, get juiced up, having that ability to kind of make a statement and having people listen and hopefully having that impact out on the field. Excuse me. So just having that impact to really try to lead. I always try to lead by example first, so I try to make sure that I'm out working, I'm putting in the extra work, and hopefully that'll resonate with the younger guys to keep pushing, keep grinding no matter what the situation is.
So not only is your time with the Fisher football team winding down, but your time at Fisher in general is winding down. So what do you see for yourself here next after Fisher?
After Fisher, I'm actually going to be attending law school. So there are a couple different schools on the table right now. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to be, but no matter where I am, I will always be looking back, making sure that the Fisher program is continuing to push for success. So I'll always make sure that Fisher's a big part of my life. It's been such a huge part of it for the past 4 years, so it'll never go away completely.
Yeah, do you see yourself ever kind of returning or staying around the sport of football?
I'll always be around the sport of football. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's probably the greatest passion of my young life to this point. So I'll never leave the sport of football. I can't say that I'll be back here coaching anytime soon or anything like that, or coaching at a different place, which seems great. But just a couple different goals. I've been playing since I was 5 years old, so it's about time to try out a different path. But football will always hold a very dear place in my heart.
Yeah, and before you do hang up the cleats for good, still got 2 more games left.
Yep.
Next one here against Morrisville next week, and they're a fellow 2-6 team with you guys. Their offense really runs through Nick Edmond and then their quarterback Brandon Wenner on the ground. So, talked about it. Several teams have attacked you guys on the ground and have had strong running games. So, again, what are you looking to try to take away from them?
Well, I mean, you know me. We've talked before. Running football games, that's my style of football, playing downhill, coming up and trying to make tackles and hit big offensive linemen. So we're always a run-first team, trying to make sure a team's going to beat us by the air. So I got to do my job, making sure I'm fitting gaps and making plays in the backfield. We always are worried about the run first. We want to make teams try to beat us over the top. So we're keying in on the run this week, and we're going to have to get the job done up front.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everything you've done, Dave, to help me out with this show. But obviously everything you've done with the football team, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you very much, man. Good luck to you too.
Thank you. After the break, senior offensive lineman Chase Reeves returns to reflect on his Fisher football experience, and you won't want to miss it.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
All right, welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, joined now by senior offensive lineman Chase Reeves. So should we really call you a redshirt junior? You are coming back one more year.
Yeah, we can consider myself that. Yeah, I'll be back next year.
So still a senior academically. So we'll talk about senior day with you. Offensively, almost 600 yards of total offense, and really was kind of the best game all around, but especially for young quarterback Josh Michaels. He ended up throwing for 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and John Lettis also came in, played some spot duty. He scored a touchdown too. So how much better was it that to have kind of that dual quarterback sort of system work out execution-wise the way it was intended?
It felt good in that game. JD came in real confident. We were protecting him really well, picking up blitzes against a really good Cortland team and defense. They have a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback, and only giving up 1 sack on the day. I think we did a great job, which gave JD the time to make the throws to our talented wide receivers, obviously. And then John Letta comes in, brings that quickness and that explosiveness, and can really tear up a defense with his legs.
Yeah, first play scored a touchdown. First day it comes in, he scored a touchdown.
That's right, put that in. Put some big boys out there.
Yeah, it was a nice package, and it was family weekend here on top of senior day, so there's a lot of different people probably watching you guys for the first time that might not have really seen the Fisher football team. So you think that was a good game for them to finally kind of see a good representation of Fisher football? Oh,
it was a great day. The weather wasn't ideal. It was pretty cold. Definitely got a cold from it. We wanted to get down with the run game, try to pound it, and it worked out well. I hope all the families had a great time watching that because we had a good time doing it.
Yeah, and you guys knocked off a Cortland team that was really in the Empire 8 hunt. So obviously, you guys have been out of the hunt for the conference for a few weeks. So does it make it feel a little better though to be able to play spoiler and still kind of have a role in shaping the Empire 8 standings?
it doesn't feel good because we know that we're that good that we could be contending for this right now. But it does make me smile to ruin a few days out there.
Yeah, so last time on the show you were starting left guard, Chase Reeves. Now you're starting on the right side. You kind of made a flop. What was kind of behind that, and how does that kind of change your game a little bit?
I just think our coaches wanted to move some people around, maybe get some different looks, and have the pulling concepts go the other way, and maybe move our strength to the different side. I don't really know. They didn't really tell us, but I didn't mind. It's been fun. I like learning new positions, and I think it worked out pretty well, obviously, this week. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you mentioned you are a redshirt junior. You took a sabbatical from the football team your sophomore year,
Yeah.
And the coaches brought you back. You were kind of given a second chance by this coaching staff, and you've been able to prove your worth to them starting this whole year. So how thankful are you that you were able to come back from this program after having to take that semester off?
I thank them every day with the effort that I put in. I want to set a good example for the younger kids, and them allowing me to come back and me working hard and showing everybody that it's all about effort and hard work and how much you care is really what means the most to me. And I thank the coaches every day for that.
Yeah, so you've been around the program for 4 years, but you're one of the few that gets to come back for a fifth year now, really. And so, what are you looking forward to most coming back with this young team that's starting to finally mesh together?
I'm just I go out there just happy to play the game of football. I'm excited to see what JD will come back to do next year. I think he's finally getting the swing of it. We're having our other quarterback come back. We got some young, talented running backs that'll replace Chambers. Wide receivers are back. Can't speak much about the defense because I'm not part of it, but we have a lot of young guys on the D-line that I think are going to come through for us as well. I think we're going to be able to put not a new team, but just a whole new identity together next year and come ready to play.
Yeah, and the senior class that is leaving right now, same class that you end up coming in with. So what are you gonna miss most about those guys that you're gonna be leaving?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss those guys. Those guys are a bunch of joke cracking. I don't know what I could say about them on here, but I think they're all great guys. We all love the game of football, love each other, love playing for this team. It's gonna be tough not having them there with me because I've been here since Kyrie's been here. I've been here since Dave's been here. All those guys have been my great friends, and it's going to be different, but it's going to be good. I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, and coming back for next year, you're being one of the older guys on the team. You're going to kind of be a team leader next year. So what are you looking forward to, kind of in that role?
Like I said, I like to work hard. I like to grind it out. I'm going to lead my younger guys as a way of showing them what to do and what hard work really is. I think if everybody gets on the same page with that, I think nothing will be able to stop us, honestly.
All right, and finally, before we wrap up this season, you guys still have 2 more games here on the road. First up against Morrisville. They allowed 175 rushing yards a game, but last week Alfred put up 324 yards on the ground against them. You guys had a season high 265 yards on the ground, so you can kind of break your own little personal record there with the way you're clicking now, especially you as an O-lineman.
I'm all for it. I think putting your will against somebody like that on the run game is really just shattering to a defense, and I like running the ball better than pass blocking, and I'm excited to do that against a soft defense, I guess.
All right, interesting. But thanks for coming on, Chase. Happy to have you on, and good luck the rest of the season next year.
Thank you.
So that's it for our Senior Day episode of Fisher Football Focus. The Cardinals might be done playing at Groundy Stadium, but we'll still be with you through the end of this season. Come back next week after Fisher takes on the Morrisville State Mustangs. For Cardinal Television, I'm James Bailey. Catch you next time.